okay, so WWE's put their YouTube videos up now, so they've cut all the SmackDown up. So that's good, because obviously I haven't spoken, let me get in a sense, I haven't spoken on the issue of Sasha and Naomi, and everyone keeps messaging me, when you're going to speak about it, Savage, all this business. I don't really care as much as everyone cares so much, you know what I mean? I think I'm starting to see that people's lives are a bit sad because that's all they care about. But if you want me to address it, I will address it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video because it says Michael Cole issues an update on Sasha Banks and Naomi. Now, I've already saw this because I was watching SmackDown Live. But for you guys who haven't seen it, I'll play this video and then we'll talk about it. So let's get into it.
A few moments later.
Switching gears now, I want to talk about what happened this past Monday night when Sasha Banks and Naomi let us all down. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions walked off the show and walked out of the building during Monday Night Raw. They were supposed to take part in this, the main event, the six-pack challenge.
Flip's sake, I can't believe this.
Would be next in line to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. However, Sasha and Naomi took the Tag Team Championships into the office of our head of talent relations, left them there, and then promptly walked out.
I can't believe they're just broadcasting all of this.
Disappointed millions of WWE fans and their fellow superstars.
Vince ain't playing.
Sasha and Naomi did this past Monday night. They have been suspended
Indefinitely.
And we will have a future tournament to crown the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
If you watch that video, Pat McAfee, if you look at his face, it looks like he doesn't agree with what's going on, or he doesn't want to speak on it. Now, we know what's happened. Pretty much everything what Michael Cole just said is what happened on Raw. It was the reports going around everywhere. I didn't really care as much. At first, I was a bit confused because I was like, I don't know if this is part of the show or whatever, but then WWE put a statement out, and they've never put a statement out like that before. Never. They never do stuff like that. Even when Austin walked out, they didn't put a statement out like that. Now, I think the fan base is split. Well, the WWE or wrestling community is split on the fact that I think most people are this is real and they're siding with Sasha and Naomi because we know that the decline of how wrestling's been over the last however many years and stuff like that, and probably the way they've been booked, especially Naomi. And the other half of the fan base thinks quarter of the fan base thinks it's part of the show. Now, you kind of never know, but obviously the WWE statement mentioned that it's a scripted TV program. We gave the girls on what they were going to do for the night. They had 8 hours to rehearse and stuff. They never break the fourth wall like that. You know what I mean? Unless the only time they ever mention it's a scripted television or whatever is when someone's hurt. Like when the King had a heart attack or when Owen Hart passed away, they start to like break, you know what I'm saying? So, there's a few ways to think about this. Now I understand the point of view, which is probably the main point of view, that how Sasha's been booked, how Naomi's been booked, blah, blah, blah. And now they put them in the tag team together. Sasha seems to take the tag team championship very seriously, which is a good thing. Obviously, she was with Bayley. They've been the best tag team champions so far. So she wants the best for them belts. And apparently, I don't know if this is true. I don't really read that sheets like that, but it's been all over the top. Everyone messaged me about it. So it said that in that six-pack challenge, Naomi was supposed to pin Sasha to win a chance to fight Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell for the women's title. And probably she's going to lose on it. But in that terms, it's part of the show. Like, you kind of have to do your job. Loads of people don't get booked right. This is not even like the worst of how people have been booked. You have people like Finn Balor winning titles and just losing week after week, or Ricochet, no one cares, and it's not even on the show. So, as much as you don't like it, it's your job. Now, there's a side where they're independent contractors, and that's what you've booked them down as. And if you're an independent contractor and you don't like the work, you don't want to do it. You know, like if you're an independent contractor, you have to clear someone's house, you're a house clearer, and then you realise there's just dog poo everywhere and all this stuff and disgusting. And you can refuse to do it, which they did, and handed in the titles and left. What I don't agree with is the fact that it was in the show, and whether you've got a problem with Vince, John Laurinaitis, or Bruce Pritchard, or whoever, you've got a fan base that like a big part of the fan base that turned up to WWE definitely would have turned up to see Sasha Banks and Naomi, especially the younger generation and the younger girls and stuff like that. They all look up to them. So someone's paid their full-blown money because your name's on an advertisement, and then you just don't turn up. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other parts of that, because there's been times when things have been advertised and then they haven't put it on at all, and then people have lost their money anyway, and that's from the company's point of view. But as a superstar, I think like you should do your obligation, continue the wrestling that night, and then after you can quit if you want or walk off. Because think about this: if Sasha got pinged by Naomi, that's not a massive thing to me. Especially if she gets pinned by Naomi and then they just shake hands after and go, listen, it was every woman for themselves in that match, but we're still a tag team. We've seen that happen loads of times. Goddamn, FTR just had a match against each other on AEW. They're still a tag team. So, and then she should have been happy for Naomi and gone, listen, you've not had a chance for ages. I'm going to have you back against Bianca. She beat me at WrestleMania. Let's go through this. Naomi loses. It's fair enough. And then she gets another shot in the future. So it's not much of a big deal. You could have, there was a way around that. But as I said, if you really just didn't want to do what was told, and we're never going to know this until Sasha and Naomi speak, and it says they've been suspended indefinitely, but the chances are they haven't been fired and they haven't left the company. If they leave the company, they will definitely speak on it, especially Sasha. Naomi's got family ties, bloodline. We saw they've won the title tonight. They've got all the belts. But chances are we're not going to hear from them, so we can only go off the information what's there. And the fact that WWE's putting it on TV is the reason why everyone thinks it's part of the show. But I actually think it's almost a punish. It's not a punishment, but it's almost like, listen, I'm gonna throw you under the bus. Then you're gonna walk out on us mid-show. I'm gonna embarrass you guys and keep mentioning you let us down and let the fellow superstars down. Because the fellow superstars ain't gonna jump on Twitter and say, Sasha, you never let us down. They'll put subliminals and stuff, but they ain't just gonna, Sasha and Naomi, by the way, sorry. Yeah, man, I don't know. I said not long ago, I probably didn't say it on the channel, but I was speaking to some of my friends who speak wrestling and stuff like that. I was saying, like, this is nothing against Sasha, because she's a superstar. I feel like Sasha's at the point now where she realises her worth, and she's not happy with what's going on in wrestling, which is fine. You should speak up for yourself. But I've noticed over the last 2-3 weeks, especially from the UK tour, if you go on YouTube now and just write Sasha Banks' name in, she's been on, like, loads of different YouTube channels, like that channel what does the chicken wing challenge, the hot sauce thing. She was on there tasting snacks. She was on Cold as Balls with Kevin Hart. She was on Joe. She was on Lad's Bible. All within 4 weeks. She's been on Mandalorian. I think that it's becoming to the point where she's like, I've made a name for myself outside of wrestling now. So use me as a star. Otherwise, I'm just not going to go with certain things. Because I can't, and I don't know for sure, I can't see Naomi personally just doing that. Because she's been booked bad for years and she's not said anything. On top of that, family ties, married to an Uso, so that means she's got access to speak to Paul Heyman and people like that. If she's not been booked properly all that time and not said anything, then my guess is that she just followed with what Sasha done. But it is sports entertainment, and there is always a chance that it could be not real. Now, no one call me stupid for thinking it's not real. You know what I mean? Because this is what everyone done with the Will Smith and the Chris Rock thing. I'm just saying, there's always a chance. Or it's real, but when they bring it back around, they make it seem like it wasn't and make it part of the show. That's what I would do now. I would have Sasha Banks and Naomi turn heel and tear the place up. Whoever wins the tournament, let Sasha Banks and Naomi tear them up. All perfect time for Naomi to join the bloodline, but we'll see. But Sasha's left before. Last time she left with no warning. She just left. She didn't leave the show while it was on though. She just didn't turn up again, and then she done the documentary and said that she was pretty much sounded like she was feeling depressed and wanted to find herself, and was only noticed as Sasha Banks and not her real person. So which is fair enough. But she's got 4 minutes, so the Naomi one's always weird because we're not used to that. But we're gonna see what happens, man. As you can see, I don't really have a horse in this race. I don't really care as such. Like I'm not like backing the company. I'm not backing Sasha and Naomi. I just think like in terms of business and the people who pay money to see tickets, I mean to see the show. And yes, we pay money to see the show, and sometimes it's trash, but that's our choice, isn't it? And obviously the card does say subject to change, but let's be honest, man. A lot of these, especially these kind of shows, you look in the crowd, it's all kids and that. And I know I said fuck them kids, which is my sentiment most of the time, but they definitely pay to see Sasha. You see the crowd and stuff like that, so we'll see. But yeah, WWE's throwing them under the bus, man. 2 shows in a row, they've mentioned it now. If they don't speak on Twitter or Instagram, or don't start posting any pictures, because Sasha is on a story every day, so if she stops posting completely, there's going to be interesting to see if there's a change in their characters or a change in how they are when they come back. Be very interesting, but like I said, for you guys are taking it super serious and like you want blood from the company or the other way around, you need to get a life, man. You know what I mean? I love wrestling as much as anyone, but get a life, man. Because I've seen people out there speaking like they're looking to burn the headquarters down. I've been your boy, Good Savage. Like, subscribers, share Destination Wrestling. Run.